and that it's all ridiculous because, in fact, Harry, and I quote, hates his family, hates all of them. You heard me right. Angela Levin, who knows Harry better than himself, said Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, the world's least happy millionaire, oh poor Prince Harry, my terrible life. Harry hates his family, he hates all of them.
We have done it again. Another extraordinary Sussex revelation. And this one lands like a grenade in the middle of a very quiet royal morning. Angela Levin, a journalist who has spent decades navigating the inner corridors of royal life, said that leaving the United Kingdom was Meghan's plan from the very beginning. Not a reaction, not a crisis decision, a plan. Drawn up, according to Royal Daily Mail editor at large Charlotte Griffith, before the wedding had even taken place.
I love my family. He doesn't. He hates them all. He won't join in with anything. He just wants to go there and get a lot of money out of his father. That's all I think it will be. And Meghan still says she hates coming. She won't come until she gets a proper apology. She still thinks she needs a proper apology 6 years after leaving.
Let us begin with the headline that has dominated the royal press since yesterday morning. Reports have emerged, attributed to a source described as a close friend of the Sussexes, that Prince Harry is expecting King Charles to extend a personal invitation to Harry, Meghan, and their 2 children, Archie and Lilibet, to travel from California to the United Kingdom during the summer of 2026. The trip would be tied to the countdown to next year's Invictus Games, which are scheduled to take place in Birmingham in 2027. Harry, the reports suggest, wants to be present for that countdown event. He wants to be visible. He wants his father to see him, and crucially, he wants his father to invite him, because an official royal invitation triggers the machinery of state protection.
Well, I didn't believe it in the first place. I thought, why would he suddenly be all cosy and nice and want to come? And why would Meghan speak to King Charles if she hates the monarchy so much?
Before we continue, if you are watching this channel for the first time and you want to follow every development in this story as it unfolds, please subscribe and turn on notifications. We are tracking this closely and new information is arriving every single day. Now, let us be clear about something. Harry does not need to be in the United Kingdom for a countdown event. He could record a short film in his garden in Montecito. He could post a message on social media. He could send a written statement. He could attend virtually. The Invictus Games themselves are in Birmingham in 2027. The obligation, if there is one, is to be in Birmingham in 2027, not in London in the summer of 2026. So the question that matters is not whether Harry will come. The question is why he wants to come now, when there is no professional or ceremonial reason for him to do so. Angela Levin's answer to that question is direct. It is financial. Harry needs money. Or more precisely, Harry needs the kind of institutional credibility and royal adjacency that translates into commercial value in a market that has grown increasingly cold toward the Sussex brand. The Invictus Games is, at this point, the sole remaining institution that still carries genuine moral weight for Harry in the public mind. The speaking engagements have all but evaporated. What once commanded a fee of $1 million per appearance has contracted to approximately $50,000, according to sources cited in the Sussex financial coverage. The business ventures have collapsed. The As Ever brand is, as of March 6, 2026, no longer backed by Netflix as an investor, confirmed by Deadline and Variety. The Archewell Foundation reported just $2.1 million in donations against $5.1 million in expenses in its 2024 IRS filings, according to Page 6 and The Hollywood Reporter. Invictus is what remains. And yet, even Invictus is not in the condition it once was. The injured servicemen and women who built that organization through their courage are increasingly uncomfortable with the way the Sussex brand has been layered over the top of it. The Games were founded to honor veterans. They are increasingly covered as a Sussex media event. That tension has not gone unnoticed by the people the Games were created to serve. So Harry comes back to London. He cannot stay away. He misses Britain in a way that Montecito has never managed to fill. He misses the rhythm of royal life, even as he publicly insists it was suffocating him. And above all else, he is waiting for his father to acknowledge him. Not as a private individual, as a prince, because the invitation, if it comes, is not merely a family gesture. It is a signal to Hollywood, to Netflix, to the speaking circuit, and to the global press that the Sussex brand retains some form of institutional legitimacy. The blue lights matter. The motorcycle Outriders matter. The close protection officers and their radio headsets matter. Not because they keep Harry safe. Harry travels regularly to locations that carry considerably greater security risk than Norfolk in July. They matter because they are visible proof of rank. They are the uniform of a prince, and without them, Harry is simply a wealthy American resident with a grievance and a dwindling income. The source who spoke to the press on Harry's behalf, described in reports as a close friend, said the following, and I want to read this carefully because the language is important. They said, "There is not a world in which Harry brings the children back unless there is an enhanced security package around them. If the king wants to see the children, all he needs to do is invite them, and it can happen. It is up to the king." Let us sit with that for a moment. If the king wants to see the children, all he needs to do is invite them. Read that sentence again. Strip away the diplomatic phrasing. What that sentence actually communicates is this. The grandchildren of the King of the United Kingdom are being held at a distance unless the king complies with a condition set by his own son. That is not a request. That is not a loving overture from a prodigal son. That is a negotiating position. It is a leveraging of access to grandchildren in order to extract a security package and a public acknowledgement of status. It is emotional pressure applied to a man who is a father, a grandfather, a husband, a brother, and a king battling a serious illness. And it has been applied through the pages of the national press. The same source added, "No father would want to put his children at risk." Again, let us examine that sentence with the care it deserves. No father would want to put his children at risk. That sentence implies that King Charles, by not issuing an invitation accompanied by a full security package, is placing his grandchildren in danger. It is not a statement. It is an accusation. And it is a deeply calculated one. Now in November 2023, a source close to the Sussexes told the Sunday Times that Harry and Meghan would have welcomed an invitation to spend Christmas at Sandringham or summer at Balmoral. No such invitation arrived. In September of last year, ahead of a brief and largely unreported visit to Clarence House, Harry told the same newspaper that he had not given up hope of bringing his family back to Britain. The invitation did not come then either, and based on the current state of relations between Kensington Palace and the Sussexes, there is no credible indication that one is coming this summer. Now, I need to share a second major story before we reach the Angela Levin interview, because it is directly relevant to everything we have just discussed. A new biography of Queen Elizabeth II, written by Hugo Vickers, who met Her Majesty on approximately 40 separate occasions over the course of his career, has been serialized in the Daily Mail beginning 28 March 2026. The Telegraph and Hello magazine have both confirmed the key claims. The book contains a passage that is, in the word used by multiple commentators who have read it, a bombshell. Hugo Vickers writes, and I am quoting directly, "The Queen herself suggested that Harry should wait a year. He did not take her advice. Instead, as we know, the wedding went ahead just over 6 months after the couple's engagement was announced." According to Vickers' account, Queen Elizabeth II had private concerns about the relationship from an early stage, concerns that she communicated directly to Harry and which Harry chose to set aside. Vickers also notes that the Queen reportedly had reservations about the wedding dress itself, describing it in a source's recollection as too white, with shoulders that she considered ungainly. The same source told Vickers that the Queen's private attitude toward the wedding had by that point shifted to a position of resigned non-engagement. The precise words attributed to her, according to the book, were, "You get on with it, it has got nothing to do with me." That final sentence is, in its way, the saddest detail in the entire account. A grandmother who has been ignored, overruled, and sidelined to the point where she withdraws entirely from the conversation. When Queen Elizabeth II, a woman whose entire public life was built on restraint and measured language, says, "You get on with it," she is not granting enthusiastic approval. She is expressing exhaustion. She is saying, "I have offered my counsel, it has been dismissed, and I no longer have the energy to press the point." The wait a year recommendation, reported by The Telegraph, Hello Magazine, Yahoo, The Blast, MSN, and the News International, all citing Vickers' text, is equally revealing. A grandmother who supports a match does not ask for a delay. A grandmother who trusts a partner encourages commitment. Wait, a year is not a blessing. It is a warning in formal clothing. It is the Queen's equivalent of recollections may vary, a phrase that communicates enormous doubt through impeccable courtesy. Hugo Vickers also writes, according to the Daily Mail serialization, that the distress Harry and Meghan caused the Queen in her final years cannot be overstated. Hello Magazine confirmed that framing in its coverage of the book published 29th March 2026. This is not a tabloid allegation. This is a documented account by a royal biographer who had direct, sustained, personal access to the late monarch over 4 decades. He met her 40 times. He knew how she spoke. He knew how she thought. And he has concluded, in print, that what the Sussexes put her through in the final chapter of her life was a source of profound and lasting distress. And this brings us directly to Angela Levin. Because Angela Levin spent 15 months with Harry himself, not with courtiers, not with press secretaries, with Harry. She accompanied him to engagements. She sat with him. She listened to how he talked about his family, about his role, about his future. She knows the register of his voice when he is sincere and when he is performing. And what she told this program in an interview you're about to hear in full is that the man she accompanied on those 15 months of engagements is not the man now leaking stories to Sunday newspapers about wanting a summer invitation to Sandringham. The change in her assessment is total. And the cause of it, in her view, is not a sudden awakening or a genuine grievance. It is the result of sustained pressure from a woman who arrived with a plan already written and a destination already chosen. The Sussex camp will deny every element of what Angela has said. Of course they will. That is the established pattern. The denial is issued. The question is not answered. And the world is left to decide for itself what to believe. Here's what the record shows. Hugo Vickers, who met Queen Elizabeth II 40 times over 4 decades and has now documented his findings in a new biography serialized in the Daily Mail beginning 28th March 2026, states clearly that the late Queen privately urged Harry to wait a year before marrying Meghan. He did not. Vickers also states, confirmed by Hello Magazine, The Telegraph, Yahoo, MSN, and The Blast, that the distress the Sussexes caused the Queen in her final years cannot be overstated. Charlotte Griffith of the Daily Mail has told this program on the record that leaving the United Kingdom was Meghan's plan from the day she arrived. Angela Levin, who spent 15 months accompanying Harry personally, states that he resents his entire family and that his motivation for returning to Britain is financial rather than familial. And a source described as a close friend of the Sussexes has told the national press that access to the king's grandchildren is conditional on the king meeting Harry's security demands. That is not a family trying to reconcile. That is a family in a cold, methodical, and very public war. A war that Charles is conducting, it should be noted, with characteristic restraint. He has not responded publicly to any of these provocations. He has not issued competing briefings. He has not sent emissaries to brief rival newspapers. He is, by all accounts, conducting himself as a king and a father simultaneously, which means absorbing an extraordinary amount of pressure without allowing it to alter his public bearing. And Prince William, the Prince of Wales, is watching all of this from Kensington Palace with what those close to him describe as cold and settled clarity. He has implemented what insiders call the iron wall. No private communication with Harry, no WhatsApp exchanges, no off-the-record conversations, all contact directed, contact, through Harbottle and Lewis, the Prince of Wales's legal representatives. Because anything said to Harry in private, in William's assessment, is said to the world. Harry is, in his older brother's view, a commercial enterprise now, and you do not negotiate with a commercial enterprise on personal terms. The tragedy in all of this, the genuine human tragedy, is that what Angela Levin described in that 2017 version of Harry was real. She was not flattering him for the sake of the biography. She was describing what she observed. A young man who was good at his work, who was kind to people in pain, who had inherited from his mother a genuine gift for being present in a moment of suffering without making that moment about himself. That person existed, and that person is now, according to the woman who spent 15 months documenting him, entirely estranged from the institution, the country, and the family that shaped him. The question that nobody in this story has yet been able to answer is whether Harry knows that. Whether there are moments in Montecito, in the quiet between the press briefings and the financial spreadsheets and the commercial negotiations, when he looks at what he has become and recognizes, with whatever grief that recognition carries, the distance between where he started and where he has arrived. Between the Prince Angela Levin, accompanied through rain-soaked engagements in 2017, and the man whose anonymous spokesperson tells a king that his access to his own grandchildren is conditional. A title, as we noted on this channel recently in another context, can buy you a seat at the table. What it cannot buy you, and what no amount of Netflix deals or memoir advances or wellness retreats at 2,699 Australian dollars a seat can replace, is the thing you had before you traded it away. And for Prince Harry, the thing he traded away was the unconditional regard of a family that, whatever its faults and its formalities, was his. It was his completely. And he will not get it back. Not this summer, not from Sandringham, not from Balmoral, and not, if Angela Levin is right, from a man who in his heart, for reasons that may have been planted there by someone with a very different agenda entirely, has convinced himself that he hates every one of them. Please subscribe to this channel if you have not already done so, turn on the notification bell, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Should King Charles extend an invitation to Harry this summer? Is there a version of this story that ends with reconciliation? Or is Angela Levin right that the man she knew has been replaced by someone who can no longer find his way back to the person he once was? I will read every comment. I will see you tomorrow. I'll see you.